The shore went by at night so silently. Where did it go? And a man like me is hard to be around. Sometimes I know. Smell the smoke and feel the wheel paddling against the flow.
Howdy folks, I'm Dan Gross and welcome to this brand new episode of the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight, Rochester's premier music and interview show. We're counting down to 50 regularly scheduled episodes this season. It's the biggest yet, the biggest names, most sponsors, and more support from the community as well. We're on, of course, the 5th season, and this is number 41 overall. You know, we're doing the countdown thing. And joining us today is folk duo Tough Old Bird. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a round of applause. And before we get going, let's hear from our sponsors. This episode was mixed by owner and operator of Wicked Squid Studios, Josh Pettinger. Please visit their website to find out how you can become a member of their studio today. This episode is brought to you by Bop Shop Records, Bernunzio Uptown Music, Rowe Photo, and Sound Source. Bernunzio Uptown Music, located in Rochester's East End, has been providing Rochester and the world with quality used string instruments since 1976. Bernunzio also offers concerts, workshops, and jam sessions. This season we're in this warm, local, and creative space, Bop Shop Records. Located right outside the city at 1460 Monroe Avenue, Bop Shop Records is your home for blues, classic rock, jazz, and classical in vinyl for the past 35 years. Rowe Photo is your Rochester home for photo, home theater installation, audio, and accessory needs. For 3 generations since 1898, Rowe Photo is there for you with second-to-none customer service. Stop by Rowe Photo's 2 convenient locations today. Trusted by musicians, recording engineers, and consumers, Sound Source is the place to go for instruments, gear, consignment needs, repairs, and to have all your questions answered by knowledgeable and friendly staff. Visit them at 161 Norris Drive for all things audio today. Additional support for the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight comes from Heads Brewing and Joe Bean Coffee Roasters. Guys, thanks so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
Oh, anytime.
And you were on the short list. You emailed us right before the season started.
Yeah.
And it was a mad scramble to try to get you on the first week. It didn't shake out, but we're very glad you're here. Soundcheck was great. We're looking forward to it. So, Tough Old Bird, you two don't just share one name. That's the band name. You are Matthew and Nathan Corrigan on various strings, vocals, and harmonica. So, brothers, did you two come from a musical family?
Yeah, somewhat. Our dad played guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Our mom has been learning to play piano in the last couple of years or so. But
a latent family gene.
Yeah,
right.
Apparently. So we grew up around a lot of music, although we didn't start playing until a little bit later on. At least I didn't.
Yeah, I started playing guitar in high school while Nate was in college,
Mm-hmm.
and then he started playing harmonica, oddly, as his first instrument.
Seemed
around that time.
like the easiest one.
I was going to say, said no one ever. I don't think I've ever heard that before. So what's the age difference between you guys?
5 years. I'm 5 years older.
Got it. So when did you... So it's interesting that you both are sort of late to the game. A lot of these folk musicians, it seems like they were like playing as soon as they were born.
Right.
So for you guys, when did you start playing together?
Around, 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was sort of, you were learning kind of asynchronously, you were both learning at different times, and then you decided to play together, or you just wanted to jam?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I think at first we kind of learned separately, and then we realized we're both doing it. We might as well do it in the same room at the same time.
Exactly, and the chemistry worked out, and we'll talk about that as the interview goes on. But what drew you to folk music? You mentioned your dad played guitar. Was there just a lot of folk music in the house at the time when you were growing up?
Not so much. I think he was all Beatles all the time.
All right, some background music. I said all Beatles all the time.
All Beatles, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how we stumbled our way into folk music.
Yeah.
That happened later. I don't know.
We'll see if we can delve into.
It was all a blur, man. What happened?
Did either of you have any formal musical education? Did you take lessons? Went to school for anything?
Nothing past high school choir, or I was in jazz band for a year, but honestly, I just kind of faked my way through it.
Yeah, I played the recorder one year in middle school.
Didn't we? I was going to say we fake our way through video on this show too, so I know what you're feeling. So one of the things I enjoy about you guys, I know everyone else does, and the Brothers Blue talked about this when they came on the show last year, and I believe this is a common theme among a lot of folk musicians. There's a real connection between the music and the place it comes from. And that's one of the first things that's on your guys' website, and you sort of advertise this. And can you talk about what that means and what it means to you to do folk music that sounds like where you're from?
Yeah, I mean, I think we put that on our website because people kept telling us that our music sounds like where
So it's a little reverse engineering.
So we decided, how can we use that
right, exactly.
as an advertising tool? But I don't know. I think if you're an artist of any kind, whatever you make is going to be related to where you come from.
Right.
And I think maybe folk music is like a kind of an extreme example of that, more than most things. But.
Yeah. I mean, the Brothers Blue said, they want to sound like the Finger Lakes region. You know, and for you guys, is there any sort of...
I don't know if we want to, but we do.
Right.
Yeah. It's not necessarily a conscious thing that when we're writing a song, we're trying to remind people of Fillmore, New York, or Allegheny County or something. But in a lot of ways, we simply just have to write about what we have experienced or what we've seen. And we spent a lot of time there, so I guess there's a lot of that just bleeds in.
The shore went by at night so silently. Where did it go? And a man like me is hard to be around. Sometimes I know. Smell the smoke and feel the wheel paddling against the flow.
Season 5 is like the season of artist segues. I don't know what it is. Everyone's been giving me great segues in the next questions. So how do you two go about writing songs?
That is a mysterious question.
We don't write together.
That's true. Yeah.
Really?
Thing,
so you guys write totally independently and you bring it to each other?
Almost always, yeah.
Yeah. I think we both will write like 97% of a complete song, and then I don't even really want to like sing it to him unless it's finished in my own head.
Yeah,
really.
same here.
I'm not sure why.
That's so surprising me. I would have thought with brothers and as you two started to play together that you'd be woodshedding all this stuff together.
Yeah, I think initially we did the first few songs that we wrote together because I didn't know how to play guitar yet, so I was writing lyrics and I didn't know how to write music, so we had to. But I don't know. We
eventually figure out how to play them together, and I think arrangements change in that way, and we edit each other's lyrics once we've brought them to each other, but they're usually kind of complete ideas by that time. And
the next component of this is like the Brothers Blue, you do, they say, quote, musical instruments. You keep switching instruments. Now, not too much, you have a bass player who joins you occasionally, and Matthew, you switch between guitar and banjo, and there's harmonica as well. How do you decide what instrumentation each song needs?
Well, I only play guitar and harmonica.
Right, so that narrows down the options for you. But you sometimes just sing, right?
That's true, yeah.
Right.
You should just answer this
one.
Yeah,
I don't really know. I guess... I don't know, even within, if he's playing guitar and I also feel like I should play guitar, there's a difference of, what style of guitar I should play, if I should, finger pick behind him or do rhythm or lead or play banjo. I guess it's just, or accordion. I guess it's just what... Eventually they just settle into those places.
Right.
And that's what it seems right.
Times we'll just try it a bunch of ways, hey, let's see what it sounds like with banjo or accordion or whatever it might be.
And things even change now. We play songs now together that are not the way that we recorded them or wrote them.
Right.
Things evolve over time and settle into place.
I heard it go down to the wire on Saturday night. Louise was crying in the dark. And the windmill stopped turning, and the horse barn was burning. The sky met the ash and the spark.
Right, you try to keep an organic approach. It's not like you go into something saying, oh, my banjo chops are a little lacking. I think we should write a banjo tune. It's nothing like that.
Yeah, that doesn't really happen.
One thing before we go into our next series of questions. So you guys have released 2 albums, Gambling Days in 2016 and Where the Great Beasts Are Buried in 2017, yes? Right. So, by the way, those are both great album names.
Thank you.
So, I do have one more thing. How did you come up with Tough Old Bird as a band name? Because I'm telling everyone about this show, and they're like, that is such a great band name.
It's a figure of speech. I'm sure you've heard it.
Right.
Our dad used to say it about our grandma all the time.
Yeah.
So,
I
think one day, sometime around the time we were trying to figure out what we were going to call ourselves, I heard him say that, and it's like, oh, that could be something. Like, it's the first thing that I didn't hate that I heard.
Everything I've seen on this show, that seems to be the criteria. It's the first thing you don't hate. You just got to go with it because you can spend.
We went through some real bad ones, or we shouted out some ideas that definitely were not good. Actually, I think it's a hobby just to come up with bad band names.
Yeah. Oh, totally. We've come up with a bunch here in the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight. I came up with Sifting Through Nickels with you. Mystic Plug is another one. We've got it.
That's not bad.
I know, it's pretty good. Rigor Mortis and the Walking Stiffs if you're a death metal band. We got a lot here. Going back to what I was originally going to ask you guys, apologies for that. So these 2 albums, Gambling Days and Where the Great Beasts Are Buried. Can you tell us a little bit about those projects?
Sure. Gambling Days... we actually recorded. Had a couple of older albums that we don't really have to talk about.
Okay.
Gambling Days was the first time we really were able to get into a proper studio and have some time. Our friend owns this studio down in Hume, New York, called Sea Lake Studios, and he just kind of helped us out with it. And we sort of took all the songs that we felt like could be an album at that time and just spent some time recording them. I don't know.
Right.
It was sort of a let's make something that has everything that we could possibly do at this time on it.
Right. And then what about The Great Beasts Are Buried?
That one we recorded at home and somehow took a much more time on it.
It's like 20 minutes long.
It's an EP,
6 songs.
it
took us like 6 months to make.
Well, it's a distilling process. You got
and with
down
that
all
one,
this stuff.
it was sort of more about honing it down to a very concise and group of songs that felt like they belonged together as a unified thing.
As a snapshot in time.
There you go.
Yeah. So this is a theme we've touched on a couple times here on the Spotlight. Folk music is sort of seeing a renaissance, particularly in Rochester. You guys included. There's Tyler Westcott from Buffalo, the Brothers Blue, the Honey Smugglers, their kind of spawn-off band, a girl named Jenny, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
And
Tyler's in 12 different bands too. So
I know. Can we have a Tyler Westcott shout-out moment? I don't know how that cat does it. I do 8 things, but I don't know. It's
blows my mind.
So why do you think folk music's having this renaissance here in Rochester? What do you think about it as speaking to people?
That seems like a Mac question.
I don't know. That's interesting because we're not actually from Rochester.
Right.
And so there's part of us that kind of feels like we're not entirely a part of that, the so-called folk renaissance. So I'm not really sure.
It never seems to go away.
Yeah. Right.
It's, like anything, it's popular for a while and then it kind of falls off again and then comes back.
Right.
This is a good time for it. But.
Right. The pendulum always swings. I think people are sort of looking for more authenticity now. There's just so much music out there that's just sort of produced and it doesn't really have any emotion. But for what you guys do, it's really sparse. You can hear the intricacy in the wood and the guitar and how you guys sing, and I think people will respond to that.
I do think Western New York is kind of people who live here kind of have an identity of being from Western New York, and so music that grows out of Western New York is supported.
Right.
And so I think that's another reason why there is so much, it seems, coming out of Rochester and Buffalo, of folk and other genres.
Right. Before we get into the lightning round, are there any upcoming recording or big concerts you guys want to tease? Anything?
Yeah.
What's coming on?
We are doing a bit of recording. I can't really talk much about it at the moment because there isn't that much to talk about yet.
That's okay. It's just enough to wet the appetite.
It's really there, but it's not quite there.
Got it.
We are playing at the Bug Jar on March 15th.
Wow.
So I think that's Thursday, March 15th. We're playing with Bitter Bells, who Rita and Ben from the Crooked North, and
shout out
Moore.
TCN. Yeah.
So that's going to be super fun. Then we're going on a little short tour. That's kind of like the first show of a tour that's kicking off kind of in the Northeast area.
Well, a lot of fun. See, that's why we asked that question. Because we want to make sure that we know you guys are keeping busy. Yeah. Okay, let's give them a round of applause. We're going on to the lightning round. Okay.
I understand the language of that blackbird in the tower. The water in our hands someday holds us back in kind.
It's called the lightning round, but feel free to take your time. These are big picture questions. If you could accomplish one thing in music and be happy, what would it be?
Not have to have another job.
Yep.
That'd about do it for me.
Yeah, that'd be it.
Yeah. I can preach to the choir, man. Now, we talked a little bit about this, how you're sort of a part of Rochester, but you're not from Rochester, so you might have an interesting perspective on this. And you mentioned this a little bit before, but what makes Rochester and Western New York such a great place for original music to live and breathe?
Oh, you already answered that one. We can just
Right, okay, we'll copy and paste it.
I really don't know. It is, but I can't really explain why.
It's like a mysterious nexus.
Yeah. Maybe there's not as many other things to do as there are some places. Maybe people just need something to do when it gets really cold and it snows.
That's about as logical answer as I've ever heard. That works for me. And one more. Do you have any advice for aspiring artists?
Play open mics.
Yeah, play open mics. We should probably
That's a good one.
Wait till we're a little more successful before we start doling out advice. But
well, it's never too
play anywhere that they'll let you play.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Keep doing
Don't
that.
get discouraged when you play for 3 hours for 2 people and don't get paid.
Yeah.
Got to stick through it. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Yeah. I'm Dan Gross, and thank you so much for watching this episode of the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight. Ladies and gentlemen, tough old bird. This episode was mixed by owner and operator of Wicked Squid Studios, Josh Pettinger. Please visit their website to find out how you can become a member of their studio today. This episode is brought to you by Bop Shop Records, Bernunzio Uptown Music, Rowe Photo, and Sound Source. Bernunzio Uptown Music, located in Rochester's East End, has been providing Rochester and the world with quality used string instruments since 1976. Bernunzio also offers concerts, workshops, and jam sessions. This season, we're in this warm, local, and creative space, Bop Shop Records. Located right outside the city at 1460 Monroe Avenue, Bop Shop Records is your home for blues, classic rock, jazz, and classical in vinyl for the past 35 years. Rowe Photo is your Rochester home for photo, home theater installation, audio, and accessory needs. For 3 generations since 1898, Rowe Photo is there for you with second-to-none customer service. Stop by Rowe Photo's 2 convenient locations today. Trusted by musicians, recording engineers, and consumers, Sound Source is the place to go for instruments, gear, consignment needs, repairs, and to have all your questions answered by knowledgeable and friendly staff. Visit them at 161 Norris Drive for all things audio today. Additional support for the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight comes from 3 Heads Brewing and Joe Bean Coffee Roasters. Ladies and gentlemen, tough old bird.
The shore went by at night so silently. Where did it go? And a man like me is hard to be around. Sometimes I know, smell the smoke and feel the wheel paddling against the flow. I wouldn't trade it even though I can't help but miss the gambling days. They're gone, I suppose. The riverboat girls all walking up and down, smelling like a rose. And the con men, they never come around, grinning in their fancy clothes. Never thought I'd miss them, but so it goes. Said, good God, I've seen it all from behind this chair. Every kind of man you would hope to meet, they all sat right there. Used to line up one by one and wait for me to cut their hair. They all came and went, but do I care? Hidden deep inside, put it on display. Tried so hard to sell my soul, you know, every night and day. Wasn't worth that much, it seems. I couldn't even give it away. One day you'll listen to what I say. Thank you. To the moon, come to meet you on the road. Did the moon come to meet you, my dear? Gather up your shadows and go home. You've no business here. You've no Listen close to me, my only sister. Listen close, sweet love of mine. Never turn your back on the river. Take care to never linger in the pines. Take care to never linger in the pines. When the darkness comes upon you, when the dark comes creeping up behind, open up your arms if you want to.
Thank you. This song is called Build It Again. Heard it go down to the wire on Saturday night. Louise was crying in the dark, and the windmill stopped turning, and the horse barn was burning. The sky met the ash and the spark. And once I realized I was a shepherd in disguise, Louise took hold of my hand. But the sun started sinking and the main line was shaking. She quickly let go again. Oh, and swing us safely across the water. Swing us safely across the water to be well again.
I can breathe easy. Maybe I can breathe easy and build again. You know, I was born quiet, all lamb wool and silence, like the ticking of a clock in the hall. And when the May winds come drifting through the window of our kitchen, Louise, I'll never know why I settled down. 'Cause sometimes it gets so quiet, my eyes so tired. You know, I just can't stand the noise, no, of my thoughts as they go drifting through the window of our kitchen to where I can be satisfied. I hide and swing us safely across the water. Oh, and swinging us safely across the water to be well again. Maybe I can breathe easy, and maybe I can breathe easy and build it again. Swing us safely across the water. Swing us safely across the water to be well again. Oh, and maybe I can breathe easy, and maybe I can breathe easy and build it again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, by request. The song is called Rushford, New York, 1927.
Brother, say a prayer for the town down there, for the story in the water, you can hear it in the air. And brother, play a song for the souls long gone, for the story we've forgotten. Has it been so long? It was 1927 when I saw Annabelle on the old stone steps where she bid farewell. She said the company's coming and they're building their dam. So goodbye to my love and goodbye to this land. Annabelle's father hitched a wagon and rode, and I watched him disappear down the old main road. This valley is ours, said the company man, and that water's sure coming. Get out while you can. High as the concrete poured. I boarded my window, bolted my door. Said you can take my home, but you'll have to take me. And now the light above the water's too dim to see. And brothers say a prayer for the town down there, for the story in the water, you can hear it in the air. And brother play a song for the souls long gone, for the story we've forgotten. Has it been so long? I don't know if there's a heaven, but I know the story well. And my mother used to say only time will tell. But if there is no heaven, may we reunite in hell. At the bottom of the lake, forever to dwell. At the bottom of the lake forever. And brothers say a prayer for the town down there. For the story in the water, you can hear it in the air. And brother play a song for the souls long gone, the story we've forgotten. Has it been so long?
This episode was mixed by owner and operator of Wicked Squid Studios, Josh Pettinger. please visit their website to find out how you can become a member of their studio today. This episode is brought to you by Bop Shop Records, Bernunzio Uptown Music, Rowe Photo, and Sound Source. Bernunzio Uptown Music, located in Rochester's East End, has been providing Rochester and the world with quality used string instruments since 1976. Bernunzio also offers concerts, workshops, and jam sessions. This season, we're in this warm, local, and creative space, Bop Shop Records. Located right outside the city at 1460 Monroe Avenue, Bop Shop Records is your home for blues, classic rock, jazz, and classical in vinyl for the past 35 years. Rowe Photo is your Rochester home for photo, home theater installation, audio, and accessory needs. For 3 generations since 1898, Rowe Photo is there for you with second-to-none customer service. Stop by Rowe Photo's 2 convenient locations today. Trusted by musicians, recording engineers, and consumers, Sound Source is the place to go for instruments, gear, consignment needs, repairs, and to have all your questions answered by knowledgeable and friendly staff. Visit them at 161 Norris Drive for all things audio today. Additional support for the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight comes from 3 Heads Brewing and Joe Bean Coffee Roasters.
I'm breathing hard in the mountain air. The trail is long, but I don't care. Reach the end and find you there. I swear I'm not going home. Well, it's quiet this time of year, and on summer nights like this one here, some whispers in my ear. It's clear for a moment, and it's gone. Made my bed beneath a chestnut tree, just like the ones that used to be behind your mother's house, where we could see the lights spinning round. Look at all the fireflies. I caught one in a jar one time. I like to look into the light. The night was not for me. But a jar full was not enough. That's why I never touch this stuff. Take off the lid, and sure enough, it's tough to watch it go. so clear. If I could, I'd stay 1,000 years. The water is like a mirror, and I'll with me from Caroline to Tennessee. He is a friend of mine. He was a friend of mine. He was a friend of
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The sun swung down, and our hair smelled like the river. All the rocks worn down to sand. You can explain it any way you want to. I won't ever understand. They said his dog never did come home, and I left a bottle by the door. Your coffee's strong and your light is sweet. I won't be stopping by no more. If you need anything from me, you always know where I'll be found. Where I'll be found. Come on inside and take those wet clothes off before you catch your death of cold. I skipped ahead and read the final page while you put the kettle on the stove. Alice came by with some bread she made, and my walk stopped at 1:30. The road was awful sharp, and nobody's perfect. It could have happened to anyone. That's not the way we do things here. And there are wasps beneath the eaves. I went right home and told myself nothing had changed. You all can go anytime you please. And if you need anything from me, you always know where I'll be found. And if you need anything from me, you always know where I'll be found. Where I'll be
Thanks. Let's do Lay Down My Burden. Just skipped over it.
Yeah. I started to write a bluegrass song when I started to write this song, and I wrote about 3 verses and then realized it was only about 15 seconds long. So I had to slow it way down, and now it's about 2 minutes long.
It's not a bluegrass song anymore.
It's no longer a bluegrass song.
I'm gonna lay down my burden for a while. I'm gonna lay down my burden for a while. Sit upon the bank and watch the big ships roll by. I'm gonna lay down my burden for a while. And sometimes I get to missing my home. Sometimes I get to missing my home, where the warm air winds through the maple and the oak. Sometimes I get to missing my home. Into the water for to swim. I'm gonna wade into the water for to swim. I can jump back out just as easy as I jumped in. I'm gonna wade into the water for to swim. think we're gonna do one more for you. Thanks.
All right, this is called The Old Revival. 1, 2, 3, 4. The southern tore the silence that hung on Tioga River Valley, and the shaking Scabney boys clinging to their mother's arms. I'd rather be an honest man in that ancient country, singing, Lord, can you hear my hammer ringing where you're from? Oh, the brave-faced king said up to his queen, I'm sinking. This ain't the Holy Ghost, then I don't know. There's blood in the keep and the light in the apse is turning. She whispered on dark trees pitching over slowly to go. May the old revival bring what it will, oh, bring what it will. Bring what it will, oh, bring what it will, oh, the crescent's waning over. The morning dew all in wait on their bough and vine. And I understand the language of that blackbird in the tower. Back in kind. Tioga River Valley. She could scare me, boy, she sure had her mother's eyes.
fun.